Welcome to our newest episode about the Queen Cleopatra. Subscribe our channel and enjoy. Cleopatra was a queen of ancient Egypt who is famously known for her beauty, intelligence, and political acumen. She was born in 69 BC in Alexandria, Egypt, to Ptolemy XII Auletes, the king of Egypt at the time, and possibly Cleopatra V Tryphaena, his sister or cousin. Cleopatra was a member of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which was descended from one of Alexander the Great's generals, Ptolemy I Soter. The Ptolemies ruled Egypt for 3 centuries, from 305 BC to 30 BC, when the last of the Ptolemaic rulers, Cleopatra VII, died. Cleopatra's family tree was complex and incestuous, with marriages between siblings and cousins being common in order to keep the royal bloodline pure. This practice, along with political intrigues and power struggles, led to a tumultuous history for the Ptolemaic dynasty. Cleopatra is the anglicized version of the Greek name Kapilon de Epsilonomicron Petaro Alpha, Cleopatra, which means glory of the father. The name was very common in the Ptolemaic dynasty, the ruling family of Egypt to which Cleopatra VII belonged. Cleopatra VII was not the first member of the Ptolemaic dynasty to bear this name. In fact, there were several other queens and princesses named Cleopatra throughout the dynasty's history, including Cleopatra I, the wife of Ptolemy V, and Cleopatra II, the daughter of Ptolemy VI. The name Cleopatra was also popular among common people in ancient Egypt, as it was associated with the goddess Isis, who was often depicted with the same name. The name became even more widely known and recognized in Western culture after the rise of Cleopatra VII, who has been the subject of countless works of art, literature, and popular culture over the centuries. Cleopatra herself was a highly educated woman who was fluent in multiple languages, including Egyptian, Greek, and Latin. She was known for her charm and charisma, which she used to great effect in her dealings with Rome, Egypt's powerful neighbor and eventual conqueror. Cleopatra's relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, 2 of Rome's most famous leaders, cemented her place in history as a powerful and influential figure. Cleopatra was a skilled politician who used her intelligence, charm, and charisma to maintain her power and influence in ancient Egypt. She faced many challenges during her reign, including internal political rivalries, external threats from neighboring powers, and the eventual takeover of Egypt by the Roman Empire. One of Cleopatra's most notable political achievements was her ability to maintain Egypt's independence for as long as she did. Despite being surrounded by powerful neighbors such as Rome, Parthia, and the Kingdom of Pontus, Cleopatra was able to maintain Egypt's sovereignty through a combination of diplomacy, military strength, and strategic alliances. Cleopatra was also known for her patronage of the arts and sciences. She was a great admirer of Greek culture and literature, and she supported many scholars and artists during her reign. This helped to establish Alexandria as a center of learning and culture in the ancient world. Cleopatra's relationships with powerful men, such as Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, were also important political maneuvers. By aligning herself with these leaders, she was able to secure military and financial support for her kingdom. However, her association with these men also made her vulnerable to political attacks from her enemies, particularly in Rome. Despite her political savvy, Cleopatra's reign ultimately came to an end when Egypt was conquered by the Roman Empire. Following her defeat by Octavian, later known as Augustus, Cleopatra committed suicide, rather than being taken as a captive to Rome. Nevertheless, her legacy as a powerful and influential leader of ancient Egypt has endured to this day. Cleopatra and Julius Caesar first met in 48 BC when she was just 21 years old and he was 52. At the time, Egypt was in a state of political turmoil, with Cleopatra's younger brother Ptolemy XIII having usurped the throne from her. Cleopatra saw Julius Caesar as a potential ally in her struggle to regain the throne. According to legend, Cleopatra famously arrived in a rolled-up carpet, which was carried into Caesar's palace. Once inside, she emerged from the carpet, revealing herself to the astonished Caesar. Whether this story is true or not, it is clear that Cleopatra was able to charm Caesar with her intelligence, wit, and beauty. Caesar and Cleopatra became lovers, and Caesar supported her claim to the throne of Egypt. In 47 BC, he defeated Ptolemy XIII's forces and restored Cleopatra to power. During their time together, Cleopatra bore Caesar a son, whom she named Caesarion. Caesar's relationship with Cleopatra caused a scandal in Rome, where he was already married to Calpurnia. However, Caesar's political power allowed him to defy convention and continue his relationship with Cleopatra. The two remained together until Caesar's assassination in 44 BC. Cleopatra's relationship with Caesar had important implications for both Egypt and Rome. It cemented her position as the Queen of Egypt and gave her significant influence in Roman affairs. It also helped to establish a connection between Egypt and Rome that would have long-lasting effects on both cultures. Cleopatra and Mark Antony's relationship began in the aftermath of Julius Caesar's assassination in 44 BC. Mark Antony, one of Caesar's most trusted lieutenants, was appointed as one of the leaders of Rome after Caesar's death. Cleopatra saw an opportunity to secure her position in Egypt and build an alliance with Rome by forging a relationship with Antony. In 41 BC, Cleopatra visited Antony in Tarsus, bringing with her a lavish display of wealth and luxury. She won Antony over with her beauty and charm, and the two became lovers. Antony was married at the time, but he divorced his wife and married Cleopatra, cementing their alliance. Cleopatra and Antony had 3 children together and continued their relationship despite political pressure and opposition from Rome. Antony's association with Cleopatra was seen as a threat to Rome's power and stability, and the Roman Senate eventually declared war on Egypt in 32 BC. Cleopatra and Antony's forces were defeated by Octavian, later known as Augustus, at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. Cleopatra and Antony fled to Egypt, where they both committed suicide rather than being taken captive to Rome. Despite their tragic end, Cleopatra and Antony's relationship is remembered as one of history's great love affairs. Their alliance helped to secure Cleopatra's position in Egypt and build a bridge between Egypt and Rome, even if it ultimately proved to be their downfall. Cleopatra was known for her naval fleet, which played an important role in protecting Egypt and projecting her power in the Mediterranean. She inherited a well-established naval tradition from her Ptolemaic ancestors, who had a long history of maritime trade and warfare. Cleopatra is said to have greatly expanded the size and power of the Egyptian navy, building a fleet of large warships known as quinqueremes, which were equipped with multiple decks and manned by hundreds of rowers. She also employed skilled sailors and seafarers from all over the Mediterranean to serve in her navy. The Egyptian navy was used to protect Egypt's coastlines from raiders and pirates, to control the flow of trade in the Mediterranean, and to project Egyptian power beyond its borders. Cleopatra's naval forces played a key role in several major battles and campaigns, including the wars against her brother Ptolemy XIII and against Rome. One of the most famous naval battles involving Cleopatra's fleet was the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. Cleopatra and her lover, Mark Antony, faced off against the forces of Octavian, later known as Augustus, in a naval battle off the coast of Greece. Despite the size and strength of Cleopatra's navy, they were ultimately defeated by Octavian's forces, leading to the downfall of Cleopatra and the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty. Overall, Cleopatra's naval fleet was an important component of her military and political power, and it helped to establish Egypt as a major player in the ancient Mediterranean world. Cleopatra VII was known for her intelligence, education, and love of learning. She was raised in a royal household that valued education and was taught by some of the most brilliant scholars of the time. Her education was shaped by the Greek culture that had long been dominant in Egypt, and she became fluent in several languages, including Greek, Egyptian, and possibly Latin. Cleopatra's education included a broad range of subjects, including philosophy, astronomy, mathematics, and history. She was particularly interested in philosophy, and is said to have been influenced by the teachings of the Stoics and Epicureans. She was also known for her interest in science and technology, and was said to have commissioned several important inventions, including a water clock and a device for measuring the height of the Nile River. Cleopatra was a patron of the arts and literature, and is said to have written several works herself, although none of her writings have survived to the present day. She was a great admirer of Greek literature, and was said to have collected a vast library of books in both Greek and Egyptian. Cleopatra's education and love of learning helped to establish Alexandria as a center of learning and culture in the ancient world. Her patronage of scholars and artists helped to foster a vibrant intellectual community in Alexandria, and her interest in science and technology helped to drive innovation and progress in many fields. Overall, Cleopatra's education was a key factor in her success as a ruler and in her enduring legacy as a powerful and influential leader of ancient Egypt. Cleopatra herself was likely raised in the traditional religion of ancient Egypt, which involved a complex system of deities and rituals. However, she was also influenced by the Hellenistic culture of the Ptolemaic court, which blended Greek and Egyptian traditions. As a result, Cleopatra was known to have supported the cult of Isis, a goddess who was worshipped in both Egyptian and Greek traditions. Cleopatra was also known to have supported the cult of Serapis, a god who was created during the Hellenistic period as a fusion of Greek and Egyptian religious traditions. Serapis became a popular deity in Egypt during the Ptolemaic period and was worshipped by Greeks and Egyptians alike. Cleopatra's religious affiliations were not purely motivated by personal belief, but were also influenced by political considerations. Supporting certain cults and religious traditions was a way for Cleopatra to gain the support of different factions within Egyptian society, and to present herself as a ruler who was respectful of different religious traditions. Overall, while Cleopatra's personal religious beliefs remain somewhat unclear, she was known for her interest in and support of a variety of different religious traditions, and her reign was marked by a policy of religious syncretism that blended Greek and Egyptian religious practices. The location of Cleopatra VII's tomb is unknown, and despite many efforts over the years, it has never been discovered. There are many theories and legends about where the tomb might be located, but no concrete evidence has been found to support any of them. According to ancient accounts, Cleopatra was buried alongside her lover Mark Antony in a tomb located in Alexandria, Egypt. However, the exact location of this tomb remains a mystery. Some historians have suggested that the tomb may have been located in the ancient city's royal quarter, which was destroyed over time and is now buried under modern-day Alexandria. In recent years, there have been several high-profile efforts to locate Cleopatra's tomb using modern technology, including ground-penetrating radar and drones. However, these efforts have so far been unsuccessful, and the location of Cleopatra's final resting place remains one of the great mysteries of ancient Egypt. Despite the fact that the location of her tomb is unknown, Cleopatra's legacy continues to live on through her many accomplishments and her enduring reputation as one of the most powerful and influential women in history. Thank you for watching. Subscribe our channel and see you in next episodes.